At the ending of episode 2 of Hard Knocks, there was a segment where Joe Schoen is talking to Saquon Barkley, and they're talking about potentially getting back together. Saquon says there was no contract offered, but is that what we saw on Hard Knocks? So the question is, did Saquon lie? What is going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. It helps out the channel tremendously. Also, guys, follow me on all my socials: Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. I want to do some stuff on TikTok, especially during the season when there's games on. So follow me on all of those platforms, guys. It would be much appreciated. So, a couple of months ago, Saquon Barkley left in free agency to the Philadelphia Eagles, and it completely split the franchise, the fans, in half again, as if Daniel Jones didn't do that much already. There was a bunch of sides of, Saquon's a traitor versus, hey, let Saquon live and all the best to him, and, all love for Saquon. And I've really been on the side of, I am still a Saquon guy. I love Saquon Barkley. It sucks that he went to the Philadelphia Eagles. He is the enemy now, but I get that it's a business and it is what it is. But episode 2 of Hard Knocks really shook some feathers and even made me second guess myself a little bit. Joe Schoen mentioned both in episode 1 and 2 that he was kind of just fed up with the whole Saquon situation. It really seems like he did not want to pursue Saquon Barkley and keeping him at all. As I said in a couple of videos prior, every time Saquon Barkley's name is mentioned, Joe Schoen is talking about replacing him. I honestly think his tone of voice every time he talked about Saquon, he just wasn't interested in bringing him back, and I completely understand. There was a phone call between Joe Schoen and Saquon at the end of episode 2 that really kind of foretold their relationship.
Can you give me your word on that, or you're not going to give us a chance?
What do you mean? Like circling back?
Yeah.
I mean, I already told you where I want to be, so.
Okay.
As you heard, Saquon is not very excited to talk to Joe Schoen. It seems like both of them are kind of jaded at this point. And even when Joe Schoen was talking to Saquon Barkley's agent, he didn't seem so excited about talking about this at all either.
I've been dealing with this for a long time. Here's why I'm worried. We offer him something, he gets a little pissed off because it's not what he wants, and then some other team comes in $1 million over us, and he's pissed at us, so he disrespected.
So let me bring you back to the infamous tweet that Saquon put out on May 3rd, talking about how the Giants did not offer him a contract. He says, "Let me educate you fans here. I can't bail or become a traitor if I never got an offer to come back. So I went to the organization that I felt was the best, and after already being here for a month, I'm excited to be an Eagle. Go Birds." Now, that was a little bit of a half-truth, and half of it was a lie. Although Saquon Barkley did not receive an offer in this year's free agency offseason, last year in 2023's offseason, the Giants definitely did offer him a contract, and I believe it was worth $12.5 million per year on a 4-year deal, I believe. And I think the guaranteed money was around $22 million. I could be wrong about that. I believe he received $26 million this year. So it was a matter of guaranteed money, as I predicted that year ago. I said this wasn't a matter of APY. It was a matter of guaranteed money. As you guys know, the running back position is not a position that lasts very long. You got to get as much money as you can out of it, especially the guaranteed. Now, you heard that Joe Schoen was talking about Saquon, how Saquon always felt disrespected when the market kind of offered him even $1 million over what the Giants were. The Giants were definitely ready to pay him big money for a running back, especially at this position. He was going to be a top-paid running back at $12 million per year. He said that he did not want to reset the running back market at 16 like Christian McCaffrey, but he did not accept that offer last year. Instead, he took an offer very similar to what the Giants offered, and he went to the Philadelphia Eagles for more guaranteed money, a little bit more in APY, and going to, obviously, a better team. So did Saquon Barkley lie about that part? Probably. But listen to what happened at the end in the preview of episode 3.
I offered him today a 3-year deal at 12.5 APY and 25 guaranteed he'd be a Giant.
Now this is where Twitter kind of blew up and was like, hey, Saquon Barkley flat out lied. There was an offer there, and Joe Schoen was trying to match it. Here's the thing, guys. Joe Schoen did talk to Saquon Barkley, talking about if a team comes to you with an offer, the Philadelphia Eagles, will you come to us to see if we can match it? Guys, that is not a contract offer. They are not offering him a contract. And even if Saquon Barkley went back to the Giants and gave the contract offer that the Philadelphia Eagles gave to see if they would match it, that is not 100% guaranteed that the Giants even matched it. If they matched it, then that is a contract offer. But I'm assuming they did not match the offer. Now, Joe Schoen said if I offered him a 3-year deal, $12.5 million APY, and 25 guaranteed, he would be a Giant. Now, even if Giants offered him that contract, it was still better with the Eagles, and you're going to a better team. Now, I get it, the contract difference, do you want to be in the Giants Ring of Honor, stuff like that. There are other things at play here than just the money, but there's also some glory involved as well. And that is not for sure that Joe Schoen offered the contract. So let's hold our horses to say that Saquon Barkley is a flat-out liar, and, you know, the Giants actually did offer him a contract, and he left, he's a snake, things like that. You got to remember, guys, he's not a Giants fan, he's never been a Giants fan, he was a Jets fan growing up. He has no really commitment to this team. The fan base are trying to kick him out constantly. Every single year they want him out because they regret drafting a running back at number 2. I wouldn't have any reason to stay either. And going to another team, I get it, it's a rival, but going to one of the best offensive lines in football, one of the better offensive schemes in football right now, that how they run their offense, and they are Super Bowl contenders. But while we're on the topic of Saquon Barkley, I want to address something that has been flowing around Twitter that has really kind of pissed me off.
What doesn't get addressed by Giant fans is last year we paid Jones and we paid Barkley. The cap went up way higher than we ever thought it was going to go up, and yet this year we can't afford both of them. To me, the worst line of all that demonstrates that Joe's not paying attention to the National Football League at all is when he said, we can't pay somebody $40 million to hand the ball off. What the fuck is Lamar Jackson doing? What's he doing? He's handing it off to Derrick Henry at $12 million, right?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Like, what team are you talking about? What are we talking about? Joe Burrow? He's not handing it off. Yeah, Joe Burrow's running the offense at the line of scrimmage. Okay, they still pay T. Higgins, right? Mm-hmm. They still pay T. Higgins. I mean, like, the fact is the Philadelphia Eagles are paying $55 million to Jalen Hurts. They're paying $12 million. Their competitors went and did exactly what you say you can't do.
This may have been the worst take I ever saw from someone of such high status that I have ever seen. Michael Lombardi is a former GM, and I can see the reason why he's not a GM anymore. First of all, I am going to get a little petty here and say I didn't know that T. Higgins changed positions to running back, and I didn't know T. Higgins got himself a contract extension. Last time I checked, he is on a franchise tag, and he's been fighting with the Bengals for a long time at the wide receiver position. And you want to talk about the Bengals? They just let go of their star running back, Joe Mixon, and they're running a running back by committee with Zach Moss, who is getting paid $4 million a year, which is less than Devin Singletary is being paid on the team that you're bashing. So the Bengals, a team that paid their quarterback over $50 million a year, are handing off to running backs that are worth $4 million. So you can throw the Bengals point right out the window. Then you mention Baltimore and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is not being paid $12 million a year. Michael Lombardi, former GM, he is being paid $8 million a year. $4 million in difference is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it is a big deal in the running back market, as that was the difference between being signed or not. And by the way, all the teams that he brought up, the Eagles, the Bengals, and the Baltimore Ravens, are teams that are ready to win right now. To pay a running back top dollar money is a luxury. You think Adrian Peterson in his time with the Vikings were worth anything? Well, you think that team has done anything with Adrian Peterson, even though they had him for such a long time? No, they didn't do anything, because having a running back there should be a luxury more than a necessity. I agree, you could pay running backs on a team, but good teams that could afford a running back on the team. The teams have proven time and time again that you don't need to pay running backs top dollar money to have a decent run game. Especially in the Giants situation where we are cap strapped right now and not in championship contender mode right now, there is no reason to pay Saquon Barkley when we have a lot of other holes that are still not even addressed. The Giants have to go into this season with not addressing defensive tackle and not addressing cornerback too. Yet you thought it was plausible for the Giants to pay Saquon Barkley and fit that into the cap? So Michael Lombardi trying to show his wits and show how he's the GM that knows best, even though he hasn't had a GM job in literally probably over a decade or more than that, is now saying that Joe Schoen is crazy and the fans are not picking up on this. You can pay a running back. Look at all the other teams doing this. Baltimore is doing it because they are ready to win a championship. Philadelphia did it understandably so because they need a top-tier running back to help their offense and win a championship. Maybe Saquon Barkley is the guy to take them over the edge. Saquon Barkley on this team only puts them up the meter just a tad bit, and we're still not playoff contenders after that. Bottom line, paying running backs is a luxury, not a necessity. And as much as I wanted Saquon to stay with the Giants, and he was one of my favorite Giants from at that point, I understand the Giants not bringing him back, and I understand why Saquon didn't want to come back. It just wasn't in the best interest of both sides. And I can't stand the Giants fans that get a hard on, that have some sort of shaming kink on Twitter, that they just love when other people from outside sources, other media networks or whatever, other team fan bases, former players like Patrick Peterson, they love when they bash the Giants. They get off on it. They love it so much. And I am not one to be super allegiant to whatever I believe in. As far as the Giants go, I am a Giants fan, but I will shred this team when I see fit. I was one of the first people on this app that blamed Brian Daboll and everything that was going on, the coaching staff, for what was going on during the beginning of the season, the debacle we were under. And then everybody said, don't blame Brian Daboll, don't blame him yet. He doesn't have enough to work with. But then everybody's blaming Brian Daboll for the whole Wink Martindale situation, how he's a clown and stuff like that. I will shred this team and whoever's on it for the right reasons, but people just love. I scroll on their timelines and there's nothing positive about the Giants. Full of negativity, full of outside sources, and they're like, look what this person had to say about the Giants. Come on, it's Michael Lombardi. He's been one of the biggest clowns on media for a long time. He's the one with wacky trade scenarios, and everybody looks to him like he's the GM. Like nobody cares what you have to say. Rex Ryan has been out of the NFL for so long. He was respected in the NFL. Now, nobody cares about his opinion. You are on TV and you're not out there on the field. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to sit here and say I know better than these guys who actually had a job in the NFL, but it is fair to call out when you see obvious BS. So no, not only does Michael Lombardi's track record of his takes while he's been in the media have been up to par, this take was one of the worst I've ever seen. Was he even talking about the Giants? It had nothing to do with the Giants, his entire point. Yet people are on social media saying, wow, he just bashed the Giants. What point did he bring? But that's all I got for you guys today, man. I don't want to go on too long. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.